I am the number one influencer for that fancy company called Cozy Earth. They sell all kinds of stuff, everything from clothing to bedding, and I will admit it is all luxurious. But don't be thinking that you can't afford it, because when you use the promo code GANG, you'll get 41% off everything. So go to tjritchie.com/deals and use the code GANG for that huge 41% discount. See, it pays to know me.
Welcome to the TJ Ritchie Show.
Hey, it's my people. All my people gather round. Amateur hour begins. I do feel like that up in here a lot of times. You know, coming in after that Breaking Brett, Mr. Award-winning newsman. Wow. He's so good. I wish he would let me just go along with him to that Greensboro trip and just carry his microphone around. You know, say, I'm the, whatever you call it, I'm the technician. Actually, I don't want to spend the weekend with a bunch of politicians. I don't care what side they're on. All right. 704-570-1110 is the phone number. I'm America's coolest conservative. Everybody knows that by now. Everybody knows it. And I know last night I started off the show with some personal problems because I had a hard time getting here. You know, there's a sinkhole blocking the road, all that kind of stuff. But I got here tonight in a different way, all by myself. Lonnie didn't even have to talk me in. Did you, Lonnie? Lonnie, my man Lonnie. But as I got into my truck to take that long journey from Mooresville, North Carolina, into the big city of Charlotte, I, as the kids say, felt some kind of way when I heard what was on WBT. I felt some kind of way because I heard my close friend, Coach Matt Doherty, on with Mr. Winterbull. Now, I knew they did stuff together on the radio and all that, but they were yucking it up and just, and I felt, a little jealous. I'll say it. I was jealous because that's my friend. I'm his radio friend. Mr. Winterbull is just his radio, work thing on, what is it, every Wednesday or whatever it is. And an occasional podcast. That's what I understood anyway, the case was. But it sounded like they were very chummy. And then after my friend, the coach, had gone off the show and Mr. Winterbull had moved on, he got a call from someone complimenting them on their chemistry. And this is what that fella said.
You kind of confirmed a suspicion that I've had for a long time. Your segment with the coach.
Yes, sir.
The word hold was used really often. And finally, when you asked him, can you hold through the break? Mm-hmm. He sort of said, I'll stay on the line, but you can't hold me.
That's right. That's right.
And I found that to be somewhat funny. And then, I know how tall he is, so he would have to lean over.
Yes.
To hold you anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
But, I'm so glad that you confirmed my suspicion that y'all do hold each other.
Well, we do. You know what? We hold each other accountable. How about that? We'll class it up a little bit there. How about that?
Yeah, whatever. Class it up. How tall is he, Mr. Winterbull? Since y'all are such good buddies, how tall is he? He's 6'8". I know that because we're friends. And I'm going to tell you what else. I play that clip because I know exactly what it's like to hold Matt Doherty. Every time I see him, firm man hug, and every time we part ways, another firm man hug. And yes, he's 6'8". It's kind of awkward. I'm 5'8". I mean, a foot. What's the difference in that? No big deal when you're such good friends as we. So I know I just started here last week, but I'm going to march into the general manager's office. Nay, the market manager is what she is. Manages the whole market. And I'm going to say, my friend Matt Doherty is not to go on Mr. Winterble's show anymore. He's my friend. And then when she says, well, do you want Matt Doherty on your show? I'm going to say, hell no. I mean, he's good enough to hang out with and all, but this is the TJ Ritchie Show. This is a real deal. I can't be just putting all of my friends on. I mean, it's business, but still, I don't like it. Don't like it. And as long as we're talking about the quote unquote talent, that's what it's called in the radio business. The announcers are called the talent. I was listening to Pete Callender today. I'm sitting outside a restaurant waiting to meet my son and my wife. Today's my son's birthday. My baby's 22. And it was when he was doing that segment about the Mecklenburg County Commission meeting or whatever that was, where those protesters got up and then they were told they had to leave. And they were protesting, it was the anti-gun protests and all this kind of stuff. Just, it just sounds like your typical group of squealing, screeching liberals. And so they kicked them out of the meeting because they, were in violation of the rules and the codes and all of that. And before they left, the story goes is that they released a bunch of crickets in the room. And then everybody had to clear out because, the dangerous cricket. Oh, my God, there are crickets in here. Run for your lives. Run for your lives. So that gives me an opportunity to explain here as the amateur host on staff is that there are several different kinds of liberals. They're all nuts. But there are that we're dealing with in the news today. The main two are the violent left. And then there are just the nerdy, dweeb, little whiny, uncool liberals. Like, we'll show them, do you have your crickets? Everybody got their crickets before we go in. If they try to throw us out, we're really going to get them. We're going to release crickets. And didn't they just come in there and suck them up with a vacuum cleaner, killed all of them? Surely there was somebody that could have taken them home and fished with them or something. You fish, George? No, you don't. Caught a lot of fish on crickets. And that's where they got them, I assume. They were those gray crickets. I know they probably just got them at a bait stand or something. Probably got all icked out with them. little whiny, nerdy, dork liberals. I mean, even if I agreed, which I don't, if I agreed with what their protest was about, and they released crickets when they got thrown out, I'd be making fun of them. It's like when I was graduating high school many years ago. Winfield Senior High School, 1987. We're the best from here to heaven because we're the seniors of 87. Yeah. And they said, if we have to have our graduation ceremony inside in the auditorium because it's raining and we can't do it on the football field, when we go to shake Mr. Machen's hand, Mr. Machen was our principal and he was strict, and thank God he was. He was a good principal. So when you shake his hand, everybody's going to have a marble, and you just put the marble in his hand, and then he'll end up having to just drop the marbles all over the place, and it'll be so funny. It'll get at him. And I said, get out of here, you bunch of nerds. That's not funny. So that's the way I felt when I heard that today on Pete's show. I was like, I know they didn't release a bunch of crickets. If they tried to tell me to get in on that, then that's what they would have heard from me is crickets. I wouldn't have said anything. It's like, get out of my face. All right. So we are officially underway now with Amateur Hour on WBT. Hey, I do it for free, so you get what you pay for. That's right. So we're going to try to get some participation from you, John and Joan Q audience, on the phone. But we've got to stick to some rules when you're on the phone, on the radio. You got to do it. All right, so we'll explain it all, and I want to hear from you. I just don't want to hear from you if you're going off into La La Land talking about something that you experienced when you were, seventh grade in 1978 or something. If we have a topic, we're going to be on that topic. So we'll work together. We'll get it done. That's coming up next.
More of the TJ Ritchie Show is coming up.
I am the number one influencer for that fancy company called Cozy Earth. They sell all kinds of stuff, everything from clothing to bedding, and I will admit it is all luxurious. But don't be thinking that you can't afford it, because when you use the promo code GANG, you'll get 41% off everything. So go to tjritchie.com/deals and use the code GANG for that huge 41% discount. See, it pays to know me. Hey, it's TJ, and you may have heard I have a little talk show now. It's from 7 to 9 every weeknight on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT. And you can also watch it on YouTube. That's right, my beautiful face on YouTube. Go get signed up for the TJ Ritchie Show on YouTube. You can do that at tjritchie.com.
He's radio royalty in the Carolinas and Queen Charlotte's sweetest prince. It's TJ Ritchie on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
Oh yeah, we are smoking tonight. Not actually smoking a substance. Smoking as in red hot smoking and no joking. That's right, red hot smoking and no joking. It's big DJ time. Cheesy DJ time. All right, the number is 704-570-1110, 704-570-1110. I'm having fun whether anybody else is or not. If you're not, then I'm sorry, I'm not waiting on you. You got to catch up. You got to catch up. Now, I saw this is pretty interesting, and it's an opportunity to, I guess, illustrate more of my being a curmudgeon. Jason Aldean is a country singer. If you don't listen to country music, you may know of Jason Aldean. If you're just, nothing but a political person, he's the one that caused the ruckus with his song called "Try That in a Small Town." Oh, the libs went nuts over that. Well, he and his wife, who used to live here, she was Bobcats. A Lady Cat cheerleader, isn't that what they were called? The Lady Cats. Lady Cat's dancer, I'm sorry. The NBA has dancers, the NFL has cheerleaders. Y'all better remember that, or you're going to get some pom-poms upside the head. They do not play. All right, so Jason Aldean says that when he's in concert, quote, I'm going to just play you guys everything we got. And when it's over, it's over. Like, that's it. I'm not going to go off stage for 5 minutes and wait for you guys to cheer for me to come back out. So he is against encores. And I am 100% in agreement with that. It is so staged and so stupid. And I don't go to many concerts anymore. because I've been to so many, with work and all that, all my years of working on music stations and all. And I've always thought that was just so ridiculous because you leave and it's planned that you're going to come back out. It's all staged. You're coming back out. When you already have a set list prepared and you put 2 songs at the end for an encore, is that really an encore? It's just all, you do this and we'll do that and everybody knows their part. And just play it. And when it's over, lights up, get in the truck, let's go. So I was telling my partner, I do a syndicated morning show called the TJ and Ritchie Show, and I was telling Ritchie this morning about that, and he was like, "Oh, but it's fun. Even though it's coming, it's fun." So I think most people feel that way. Jason Aldean and I are just, grouchy old men, as my wife would say. Okay. Being an all-knowing political and cultural analyst, people ask me all the time, they say, "Hey, Mr. Ritchie, what is the biggest problem in our country?" If you had to say the one thing that is the biggest problem with our country, what would it be? And that's hard. That is very difficult. And it can't be something like, I honestly think that if you just said Democrats, professional Democrats, the ones who are in charge, that would sum it up. But it's an issue. One issue that you think is the biggest problem in our country. And, it's hard. Education system, that's a big one. All of the indoctrination for so many years, where Republicans have just let the liberals and Marxists take over our education, and just first of all, the fact that we have a government education system is they got that from the pillars of communism. Go look that up. That's one of the pillars of communism, is a government provided education. On its face, we shouldn't have that, or a progressive income tax. But I would say if one specific issue that if it changed, the country would start to swing in the right direction, is the media. The lying media that, not only what they say being lies and twisted and turned upside down and all of that, it's also what they don't report on. The stories that they choose not to report in order to keep the Democrats looking good. Mark Levin, the great one, Mark Levin, he talks about this all the time. And it makes complete sense. When you're talking about this type of story, you're talking about the Hunter Biden laptop story that they covered up, they buried it, they wouldn't report on it. They just, well, we can't do that. We can't do that. So I think the media being so rotten is probably, in my opinion, it's the biggest problem that our country has. The biggest threat to our freedom, the biggest threat to peace, the biggest threat to different groups of people from different walks of life living harmoniously amongst each other. Think about it. Every time some commucrat politician got on the news and said some ridiculous lie, if the media were there to say, that's not true, it's actually this way or it's actually that way, think about how much different our country would be. Think about how much more, how much happier everybody would be if they just weren't such liars. I don't know how they're, let's say you work for ABC. How are their smoke detectors not going off all the time with that many people walking around in the same building with their pants on fire? Can you imagine how hot it is in that building with all those liars? So that is mine. Now, here's what we're going to do. It's very simple. You just tell me at 570-1110, 704-570-1110, what you think the biggest problem in the country is. Now, the media is taken, so we don't need a lot of other people saying the media. I've covered that one. So we can keep it moving, keep it fresh, keep it zipping along. Get as many people's opinion as possible. If anybody will call, they may be scared. I won't hurt you. As a matter of fact, I'm probably the sweetest on the phone of anybody that you'll ever call at a radio station. I am Mr. Polite, Mr. Sweet. I'm not going to yell at you. I'm not going to hang up on you. Unless you're just really, not worth talking to because you're sorry. I'm not going to talk to any sorry people. All right, so what do you think the biggest problem in our country is? What you got? 704-570-1110. Now, not everybody calling at once. We only have so many lines. You can send a DM to me. That stands for direct message. That's what the young people call them, DMs, on Instagram, TJ_Ritchie, Ritchie. If you want to follow me there and send me a DM, I'll take that. Just don't ramble in your DM. Just get to it. Boom, boom, boom. All right. I love you. I do. I love you all. But I got to take a break. And the phones are going nuts right now. So we'll see if we get anybody that can educate us a little bit on maybe something that we don't know yet. We'll get to them next.
The TJ Ritchie Show.
Hey, it's TJ, and you may have heard I have a little talk show now. It's from 7 to 9 every weeknight on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT. And you can also watch it on YouTube. That's right, my beautiful face on YouTube. Go get signed up for the TJ Ritchie Show on YouTube. You can do that at tjritchie.com.
He's America's coolest conservative. Welcome to the TJ Ritchie Show on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
It's just one of those days. This is music from Limp Bizkit. If I'm not mistaken, the lead singer of Limp Bizkit, Fred Durst, has a local tie to the Carolinas. Maybe lived in the gas house for a while when he was young. I don't know. There's some kind of connection. All right. So here's the question. It's very, very simple. What do you think the biggest problem in our country is? I said the media. Now, I know there are a lot of serious problems, and that's what makes the game fun. You see, you got to pick one. It's like saying, what is your favorite movie of all time? And you go, oh, my God, I can't pick my favorite movie. I love so many of them. That's what this is about. Everything's messed up in the country. All the issues. What is the biggest problem in U.S. America, according to you? Who should we start with? Lonnie? Kim. Okay. Here you go. Hey, Kim, Lonnie says, start with you. What's the biggest problem in the country?
Well, I think it's the anger management and frustration, because when I talk to people and they see things like you were talking about, or they hear something, they believe it without even questioning it. They don't look it up. They don't try to find the truth. And when I look it up and I find the truth, they're like, well, yeah, I don't care.
Yeah.
And it's like, are you that lazy?
Well, no, it's because liberals are led by emotions. Democrats, the regular run-of-the-mill Democrats, that's why a lot of times they're not bad people. They just are. They've been emotionally manipulated by the commucrat Marxist leaders of the Democrat Party, and I kind of feel sorry for them a lot of times, to be honest with you.
Well, that was the word then, manipulated. People are so manipulated, even when they look at the truth and they read it and they know it, even in their heart, they just don't want to do it because they get more attention not doing it.
Well, actually, it's because it's more than just political beliefs to them. It's almost like a religion, and it's like they've believed this stuff their entire lives. They've been raised to believe that conservatives and Republicans are bad and they're not for the little guy, and all these lies about Republicans that Democrats spew. And then, so imagine one day you're an adult and then somebody comes along and says, what you've believed your entire life is not true. It'll be hard to let go of that, So, yeah, you make a great point. Thank you very much, Kim. Great call. Good call. Yay.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're sweet. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, so let's go to Vicky. Hello, Miss Vicky.
Hey, TJ.
What do you think the biggest problem in America is?
I think it's Trump derangement syndrome.
Yeah.
But you kind of already said that, so I'm going to have to go with Alphabet Mafia.
Okay, so the radical LGBTQ plus organizations that, like we were talking about last night, not your regular people who just want to be left alone and live their lives.
Oh no!
You're talking about the activists, the Marxists in that organization. Yeah.
Love has no boundaries to me, and I think that these liberals that are going. How did you put it last night? You said that they were. I can't remember what you said. That they were going crazy.
Yeah, they just took it too far. They're just over the line.
Yeah, they're taking it too
They're
far.
insane. Yeah,
and the fact that a girl can't win when she is in a track meet, and a guy can, that's crazy to me.
Yeah, it is. It's insane that we even have to have a conversation about it, and that's how twisted things got so quickly. Since the transgender movement happened. Do what, Vicky?
I used to listen to you on the Ace and TJ show, and somebody told me that Ace was dead.
Yeah, he died a few months ago. And, miss him greatly.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you because I wasn't sure if it was true. Well, you have my sympathies.
Well, thank you very much, Vicky, and thank you for calling. You're sweet.
All right, you have a good night.
You too.
Thank you. Right. You're doing a good job.
Thank you so much. All right, Aaron. Aaron, what do you think the biggest problem in America is?
All right. Well, you was talking about the media.
Yeah.
And I'd like to sum it up with a Spider-Man. J.J. Jameson wants Peter Parker to get a lot of attention on Spider-Man because he wants to disrupt it as him doing a good deed, but then destroying him on the page. And then I feel like people that work for these companies on news, they go also where the money is because they're afraid to speak out because they don't want to lose their job. And
yeah, so you think that the media isn't as terrible as they seem because they're just trying to keep their jobs and they have to do what the media bosses say? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think we'll have to disagree on that one because I think they come out of those journalism schools being indoctrinated because they'll always say, what do you want to do? I want to change the world. Well, you're not going into the media to change the world. You're going into the media to stand on the corner and tell people what happened. That's all. You're not supposed to be, trying to be an activist or any of that kind of stuff. You're not that, I hate to say it, but you're not that important to be out there trying to change the world. Your job is to stand there, look around, and whatever you see, tell people what you saw or what you found out about it. That's it.
I agree with that. Well, you just taught me something today, and I appreciate that.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Aaron. I appreciate you, bud. Talk to you soon.
You have a good one.
You too. All right. Great. How about that? Solid, man. Solid. Now, I don't want to insult Aaron, but I have to say something here, and I don't mean this in any offensive way at all. Because I think it was when I was, being on everybody's show on WBT leading up to my debut, and I was on with Pete Callender, and he asked me, what does it mean? Why am I the America's coolest conservative? And this is a perfect opportunity to explain that, because the whole time my man Aaron there was talking about Spider-Man, I had no clue what he was saying. I did not get anything about that reference. I didn't get the analogy. I didn't get it because I don't know anything about superhero movies. I've seen, I saw one Spider-Man movie with my son when he was little. And when I heard that he was into superheroes and those types of movies and all, I tried to book it on, because Maury was still on the air back then. I was trying to get a paternity test done, because I was like, what nerd has my wife been messing around with that's brought me a kid that likes superhero movies? So I went to a Spider-Man movie, and I think I've watched one Batman movie with him. Other than that, that's it. Now, as great as those brilliant political pundits are, the ones that do podcasts and stuff like that, they're so brilliant. Like, let's say Ben Shapiro. He references all of those superhero movies and Star Wars and Lord of the Rings and all that kind of stuff, and that's just lost on me. I am too cool for that. Too cool. Always have been. Even when I was little. Well, I told y'all the other night, when I was little, my entertainment was Richard Pryor albums that I snuck off and bought. I sneaked away and bought them without my parents knowing. So, and look how I turned out. I'm fine. Look at me. People always say that. They're standing there just like a lot of times just being the biggest goof offs in life. And they'll say, I didn't have all that, and look how I turned out. Yeah, we see you. I know people say that about me a lot. Well, you know what? You should have had some superhero movies and a more innocent childhood. All right. So we have what I have labeled here as angry, pierced gay woman making threats to people in the public. Violent threats. Oh my gosh, she's so scary. So I'll play her soundbite for you, and then, of course, have some pinpoint analysis following that. Okay, so that's coming up next.
It's TJ Ritchie.
I am the #1 influencer for that fancy company called Cozy Earth. They sell all kinds of stuff, everything from clothing to bedding, and I will admit it is all luxurious. But don't be thinking that you can't afford it, because when you use the promo code GANG, you'll get 41% off everything. So go to tjritchie.com/deals and use the code GANG for that huge 41% discount. See, it pays to know me. Burger sauces and hot dog sauces are so popular right now, and the best I've had come from Chicago and Big Fork brands. Along with Chicago's finest sauces, Big Fork also has delicious bacon sausage, mouth-watering bacon hot dogs, keto and paleo-friendly meat sticks, and a whole lot more. And you're going to get a big 20% discount right now when you go to tjritchie.com/deals and use the code GANG at checkout. Do it now. You're going to love it.
Radio, podcasts, and cool social media content. Get all the TJ you can handle at WBT.com/TJ. Now, back to the TJ Ritchie Show on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
Oh. Everything is so lovely tonight. You so lovely as an audience. Give yourselves a round of applause. Here we go. Man. That pulls chills all up and down me right there, man. That rocks. I see nobody fixed the blinds that I tore up last night. They're going to send me a bill for it. I just touched the chain that closes the blinds last night. I gave it just the faintest whisper of a pull, and the thing just fell apart. Pulled the whole chain out of it. Now it won't go up or down. Okay, so a computer crashed, and it tore up the blinds. Oh, they're going to have to call the professionals out to deal with that one. And I shouldn't have already admitted that I'm the one that did it. I mean, yeah, doing the job for free just because it's fun is one thing, but then when it start costing me money to do this show, if I'm having to replace blinds and stuff, that's not good business. Me and Lonnie didn't see anything. Okay, good. Nobody saw anything. If you don't know by now, I'll just go ahead and say it. I love perusing the social medias. I just love it. I love it because I like finding these just insane people talking to the camera, people that, listen, have no business being on camera. You know what I mean? Not exactly what you would call the beautiful people. And so I found this nice, sweet young lady today, and she is in her car. A lot of these videos take place in the vehicle. They take place with these crazy liberals. They're in their car. They're walking all around the house while they're videoing themselves, which is annoying, getting me motion sickness. Or they're lying in the bed with their bonnets on and stuff. It's like, get up. You're making a video. Stand up. Get out the bed. So this lady's in her car. She has a huge face, bigger than mine, which is saying a lot. And the face she looks like Hellraiser, that old movie from the 80s, because she's got so many piercings in her face. And she's madder than fish grease because she does not like the way Pride Month is going so far. So here is, you got the picture in your head of what she looks like and how angry she is. And these are her words. Go ahead.
I swear before God in heaven, the first person that comes out saying that they want a straight pride this year is getting a fist to the face. I'm still not over what happened to Matthew Shepard back in the 90s, but if you want to talk about something that happened more recently, Jonathan Just, not even 2 days ago, was just killed in front of his husband and the remains of his home and his dog for being queer. If you want to know about the whole story, go on and Google it. I don't have the heart to talk about it right now. If you don't understand why gay people still need pride, then you're not paying attention. People are dead. And if you come into my comments today, you're getting blocked and reported. I don't have time for that crap today. Throw a brick at a homophobe for me. Happy Pride.
Okay. So much there. It speaks volumes when someone can't even say what's on their mind, what they're feeling. They have so much feeling with what they're saying. This is their passion, but they can't talk for, I don't know, how long was that clip? A minute, maybe? 41 seconds. They can't put 41 seconds worth of thoughts together without having to stop it and edit it together. Like say one sentence. Oh, that was profound. Take a break, start it recording, say something else, cut it together, put it. I mean, come on. How seriously are we supposed to take you as a passionate speaker if you can't even speak all the way through for 41 seconds without making 5 or 6 cuts and edits to whatever it is you're saying? Talk about pride. Have some pride in yourself. Don't put out that junk for the world to see. Be better. Be better than that. So she's going upside somebody's head if they say they want a straight pride week. Okay, I want a straight pride week. What you gonna do? I really don't. I don't get into that kind of thing, but she said nobody better say it. She even swore before God. They talk all tough. Like, I dare somebody to try to stop me from going into the women's bathroom because I am a woman. You know, it's clearly a guy. You see what you're going to get if you try to stop me. Now, I get maybe they're living in these big liberal cities where, you know, nobody would try to stop them. But like I said last night, you're not going to go to a conservative southern city and be the same, you know, tough, you know, bad A. You're not going to do it. You'll be scared. Now, Matthew Shepard, that was a case in the 90s. And the story was a young boy was killed. You can go look that up. Then she mentions Jonathan Joss, Jonathan Joss, who we were talking about last night, John Redcorn. And I said it was sad. John Redcorn from King of the Hill, that does the voice of John Redcorn, was killed by allegedly by his neighbor. They got into a dispute. The police say that the husband of John Redcorn claimed it was because John Redcorn is gay that the guy killed him. Police said they've investigated and no evidence has been found to support that claim. But people that are so emotional and don't have the ability to process logical thought do lash out like that, and they say some of the craziest things, like throw a brick at a homophobe today or hit a homophobe in the face with a brick, whatever she said. All right, who's going to determine who a homophobe is? You? You're already speaking nonsense. What determines a homophobe? Somebody who just doesn't give you what you want? Is that what it is? Pretty girl. Oh, you're a little pretty girl. You get what you want. But it's easy to see why these people are so miserable. Because that's what it boils down to. They're just miserable people. And it's always easier to lash out at other things and create these victim, create a victim status for yourself. Because then that way you don't have to really take a look at what you've done with your life and the bad decisions you've made that have put you in this miserable position. And anybody can look at this woman and tell that she's a bad decision maker. If you saw her in the Walmarts, you would say, there goes a bad decision maker. I wonder why she hates her parents. Because there's no way she could look the way she does if she had a good upbringing and she cared about what her parents think and had any respect for them. And I mean, she looked like she was in her late 30s or early 40s. But still, it's almost like people, and this is sad, a lot of times they look at themselves and they go, okay, well, I'm not beautiful by standards that I think people are judging me. So I'm going to go the other way, and I'm going to make myself as ugly as I possibly can. That way it looks like I don't even want to be what they would call pretty. So I will give her that. She accomplished it. But most of the time, this mentality comes from narcissism, and people aren't even thinking about you one way or the other. You think people are sitting around judging you and talking about how ugly you are and making fun of you and all this stuff when they probably aren't even thinking of you at all. Yet you have to spin all this stuff in your head because you just want to do something, no matter where it lands, that says that you matter. I matter. Well, you know what you could do, where you could land, if you want to always matter, if you always want to feel like you matter, you need to land with the Jesus. That's where you need to land. I say it every night at the end of the show. One of my best friends in the world is a preacher, and he says, God loves you, and there ain't nothing you can do about it. And it's so true. You can pierce yourself all up. You can be mad and run around and insult people and threaten people and do all the crazy things this woman's doing. But if she really wants to matter, God loves her and ain't nothing she can do about it. Now, I'm going to be passing around the offering plate. This is the time in our sermon where I do that. So, it's between you and the Lord what you give. All right, we got more coming up. Hang on. Hey, it's TJ, and you may have heard I have a little talk show now. It's from 7 to 9 every weeknight on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT. And you can also watch it on YouTube. That's right, my beautiful face on YouTube. Go get signed up for the TJ Ritchie Show on YouTube. You can do that at tjritchie.com.
News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT proudly presents America's coolest conservative. Well, proudly could be stretching it a bit. Welcome to the TJ Ritchie Show.
Hour 2. Yeah, it really sucks when I've figured out that I spend more time driving to and fro than I do on the air. Again, I can't get in the rich people lane because I'm doing this for free, just because I'm doing it for fun, and I don't want it to cost me money. And when the time I'm coming in here, the rich people lane is like $6 and something a segment. No, my wife will be like, okay, that hobby is costing us too much. My wife talks like this too. Now, your little hobby is costing too much. Okay, 704-570-1110. We have some calls here that we'll take the last couple of calls of what do you think the biggest problem in America is? This is Miss Joan. Miss Joan, what's the biggest problem in America?
Good evening. I think it has to do with secularism, and that comes right out of socialism and communism.
Yeah.
You know, we saw during COVID them picking on Christian churches, and I include Judaism and other things. And they've moved things around. You know, like schools are doing things secretly, and the children are handled there and keeping secrets from parents. They're breaking down the culture that has held up Western civilization forever.
Yeah.
And the rise of lawlessness and criminology and all that sort of stuff. It boils down to the absence of whether you call it a God or a higher power or something like that. We've lost the core values.
Exactly.
And that's what connects everyone. The spirituality that even like, you know, even if you don't share the same religion, when there's people come together like they did with 9/11.
Yeah.
And so early in that disaster, they quit showing the towers collapsing.
Yeah.
And that was because it was sensitive and it brought us together.
Right. They didn't want us to keep bonding over, you know, the sight of that happen, how devastating that was. And you're exactly right. They it's communism that wants to separate people from their faith because they want you to have faith in the government. They don't want you to have faith in something that they have to compete with.
Right.
So
And,
that's why during COVID, like you said, the churches were shut down, and things of that nature. Yeah.
My group of people, when we lost our building, moved to a park. And we did everything we did in the park. And we loved it so much that we still do it.
Yeah.
We
I mean,
can
that's
go back
awesome.
in the building.
Yeah. I say it just about every night on the show. People have gotten away from the Lord, and they need to get back on it. Thank you so much, Joan. It's a great call, and I love talking to you. Thank you so much.
Well, good. I'll call again. Thank you.
All right. Please do. All right.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, Jackie, what's up, man?
Hey, TJ, congratulations on your new gig here, man.
Thank you.
And good luck to you also.
Thank you very much.
Real quick, before I get to my question, you talked about having to drive in every day.
Mm-hmm.
Are they not extending you the same courtesy that they extend people like Vince Coakley and the other guys where they can work from home?
Oh, I don't know what they do. I was just going to ask them if they could get me one of those passes that I could use the fast lane.
Yeah,
that's all I would do. Since they're not paying me or anything.
Yeah, I think they're working from home, man. I don't think they come into the studio.
No, they're not, because I've almost gotten run over by Brett every night trying to get out of here so fast. I see him. Yeah.
Hey, quick question though. I've been listening to the show for the last few days, man, and you've talked about and commented a lot of times, man, about crazy liberals, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You use that term a lot.
Yeah.
You actually called the congresswomen, the black congresswomen, witches last week, as a matter of fact. I was hoping for somewhat of a breath of fresh air, but are there any crazy conservatives?
What do you mean a breath of fresh air? Are you a liberal? Are you a crazy liberal, Jackie?
I'm just Jackie Robinson, man. I don't label myself as liberal, conservative. I'm an independent as far as registration's concerned. But are you going to talk about any crazy conservatives? Do they exist in your world?
No, they don't. I've never seen one. So look, here's the thing. Here, we're going to go back to this. Let's go back to this. Hang on a minute. Stop, Jackie. I'm going to let you talk. Just stop. We're not going to be. Let's not act like we're on the Jerry Springer show here. But
all right, I'm sorry.
But the idea, though, that you're trying to pull me into this, and you need to do this, and but a breath of fresh air, and then what is a breath of fresh air to you? If you're an independent, what does that mean?
I thought that your show would not. I didn't know it, but I was hoping that you would not have so much of a conservative bent, and you would not spend so much time criticizing the Democrats and what you call liberals.
Right? Do you?
You spend a lot of time doing that.
Yeah. I also say Marxists and Commucrats and Democrats as well.
Yeah, use those terms a lot.
I use them a lot
also.
too, and it's really clever. I think it's pretty clever. Professional Democrat. But what is it to you that is endearing about these Democrats that I need not criticize?
I didn't say that. I think they're crazies on both sides. Is what I'm saying.
Okay.
They're crazy, are you and everybody deserves equal time. You just can't talk about one side all the time and not talk about the crazies on the other side. In my opinion.
If I see a crazy on the other side, I promise you, I'll point it out. And I've already said on here that I don't agree with everything that President Trump does.
What do you think of Marjorie Taylor Greene?
I'm not a big fan.
Okay,
I'm not a big fan, but here's the thing. I will take Marjorie Taylor Greene over any Democrat any day. I have never ever voted for a Democrat. I'm 55 years. No, they're not. If they were good, Jimmy Carter was the worst. He never met a dictator he didn't like. Jimmy Carter was awful. Bless his soul.
But he was a great person.
No, he wasn't.
He was a good person.
He was not. He wasn't a good person. He worked for Habitat for Humanity, but he wasn't a great person. He was throwing out that evil Democrat rhetoric up until the day he died. He was not a good person. Everybody thought he was because he was.
You don't think there are any good? You don't believe there are any good Democrats?
There are good Democrat voters. There are no good Democrat elected officials or people who work for them. I call them professional Democrats because if they make a living by being a Democrat, if their living depends on their being a Democrat, then no, they're no good.
I totally disagree with that.
Yeah, I get it, and that's cool. That's cool. You disagree, but I just.
Where were you born and raised?
In Louisiana.
That may be the problem right there. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I know you independents. I know you independents think you're so much smarter than everybody else because you're not swayed either way until you make a decision on the issues and this, that, and the other. But I mean, I've looked at it every way you can possibly look at it, and I have not seen a good Democrat leader that's not dishonest and mean and manipulative and just downright, a liar. In years and years, I can't even think. Well, maybe there are
Republicans like that also.
Maybe they are, but there's not a prerequisite for them to be that way in order to be a Republican, and you have to be that way to be a Democrat leader today.
You said maybe there are. There absolutely are.
But if there are, I'll point it out. Like I said, if it comes up, I will. But every single day, we're bombarded with nothing but crazy Democrats and crazy liberals, and that's what I see, and that's what.
But the Republicans are in charge right now.
Listen. I'm not going to argue about this because we're not going to change each other's minds, and I'm up against a break. But you're not going to change my mind.
The Republicans are in control, TJ.
No,
the Republicans are in control.
Yeah. Okay.
You control the Senate, the House, and the presidency.
So, what does that have to do with anything?
You're in control. So why are you spending so much time talking about the Democrats?
Come on, man.
The Republicans are in control.
Yeah. All right. Okay, you're right. You're right.
They're in control. So
okay, I get it, Mr. Independent. You like to argue with both sides. I got it. I'm not going to argue with you anymore because I got to take a break. I appreciate you calling, and call back some other time. We can get into it. But my experience with independents is that all you want to do is argue with both sides, and you're not going to sway me. I'm not going to sway you. So we're wasting time because I know I'm right. But thank you. I appreciate it. That was fun. All right, we got more coming up next.
The TJ Ritchie Show.
I am the #1 influencer for that fancy company called Cozy Earth. They sell all kinds of stuff, everything from clothing to bedding, and I will admit it is all luxurious. But don't be thinking that you can't afford it, because when you use the promo code GANG, you'll get 41% off everything. So go to tjritchie.com/deals and use the code GANG for that huge 41% discount. See, it pays to know me.
Identifying liberalism and mocking it relentlessly. This is the TJ Ritchie Show on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
I did enjoy the little exchange with Mr. Jackie the Independent. That was fun. I really, though, after you argue with somebody a little bit and you see nobody's moving, you just got to move on. I mean, people are trying to be entertained, and we could sit there and argue all night. Okay, so one more call quickly here, and then we'll move on to something else. This is Bill. This is Big Beautiful Bill. Hey, man.
Hey, brother. What's happening? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. What you got?
I got 20 seconds, so I'm just going to tell you, man, you are refreshing and awesome.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
I don't have anything to add. I'm Bill from Rock Hill, by the way.
Okay. Bill from Rock Hill. Bill from the Hill.
Girlfriends, they remember their name.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Bill. And
but what I was going to say, man, is I'm talking to my radio in my truck when I'm coming home late from work, and it's so refreshing. I know you have a story in Charlotte. I've been here since '77.
Yeah.
And it's awesome, dude.
Well, I really appreciate that, Bill, and you're awesome too. And I appreciate you being out there. Have a good evening, man.
Dude.
We'll talk soon. Call back sometime soon. All right.
All right.
Thank you, buddy.
Can you forget Bill?
No, not going to forget Bill from Rock Hill. I didn't cut him short there. The people running the buttons did. And I didn't put him on because I knew he was going to brag on me after the argument call. I didn't know what he was going to say. Okay, so back to the politicking. The leader of the Democrats in the House of Representatives, a man named Hakeem Jeffries, he is receiving some flack today from people who are decent because he was commenting on the ICE agents right after all of the terrible things that have just happened over the past couple of weeks. The Democrats, they can't let go of this. They have to keep defending these criminal illegal aliens like the Maine and Boulder. So Hakeem Jeffries comes from a communist background and family. He had an Uncle Lenny. I believe, if I remember the stories correctly, Uncle Lenny was a professor at New York University, or in some one of those New York colleges, and he was a big time Marxist. And Hakeem said, it was Hakeem's mentor, right? Uncle Lenny. So Hakeem has a problem with the ICE agents covering their faces when they're making arrests on these people who are in the country illegally and are committing other crimes and so forth and so on. He doesn't like the fact that their faces are covered. Now, their faces are covered because they were getting doxxed. Now, what that means is that these lunatics on the left were seeing these ICE agents, finding out who they were, posting their addresses, death threats on their families, putting them, in danger, all this stuff. So they started covering their faces when they make these raids and make these arrests. But Hakeem does not like that with his giant face and big stupid eyes. Here's what he said about ICE agents covering their faces.
Every single ICE agent who's engaged in this aggressive overreach and are trying to hide their identities from the American people will be unsuccessful in doing that. This is America. This is not the Soviet Union. We're not behind the Iron Curtain. This is not the 1930s. And every single one of them, no matter what it takes, no matter how long it takes, will, of course, be identified.
Yeah, they're going to be identified so you can go get them. That's what he's saying. This is America. This is America. Like he cares. This is an anti-American saying this stuff. He surely doesn't mind when his buddies from Antifa are out there with their faces covered, does he? The Soros employees burning down cities and whatnot. They're good with their faces being covered, right? Hakeem. But I call him Big Sleepy, is my nickname for him. Affectionately, I call him Big Sleepy. Because he's got his eyes look like he's about to fall asleep at any moment. So if you don't know, then do a Google image search on him. Get to Googling that, and you'll see he's got these big. First of all, his face looks like it's the size of North Carolina, and his big ears and his just eyes that look like he could just drift off at any moment. So when I hear him speak, like let's just take what he just said. You may hear him one way, but when I'm looking at him and I see his eyes, this is the way I hear him speaking.
Every single ICE agent who's engaged in this aggressive overreach and are trying to hide their identities from the American people will be unsuccessful in doing that. This is America. This is not the Soviet Union. We're not behind the Iron Curtain. This is not the 1930s. And every single one of them, no matter what it takes, no matter how long it takes, will of course be identified.
He sounds like he just ate a fistful of Delta 8 gummies and gave him an hour to settle in before he went to the press conference. He looks like that all the time. Like, this is America. Thank you, Hakeem. Clown. Oop. Sorry if I'm not being a breath of fresh air right now. Oh, it's just so ridiculous. Oh, these people. Big sleepy. So, here is what I keep harping on, though, about the Republicans. You've got to keep identifying who these people are. And you've got to do it in a quick, concise way that sticks in people's minds when it comes election day. Not just with a presidential election. Every election. We have the thinnest majority in the House and in the Senate now. Just razor thin. So, like, for example, I love Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary. And she was talking about the situation with the guy in Boulder and said that he was here because of the Biden administration's open door policies and lax immigration policy and all that. Stop saying the Biden administration. Say the Democrats. Because that's what they all want. They all are for that. Say Hakeem Jeffries and the Democrats want ICE agents to be doxxed and threatened. Say it. They're lockstep. There's only one Democrat that steps away from the crowd, and that's Federline. Fetterman, not Federline. Fetterman. K-Fed. He's the only one. So people need to remember that they need to associate Democrats with the wrong way. The wrong way to go. Because we got to increase if we lose that razor thin majority in the House, that clown becomes the Speaker of the House. You know what the Speaker of the House is? The third most important official in U.S. America. After the Vice President, he's next in line to take over the presidency if something, dire, God forbid, happens to the President and Vice President. Can you imagine a President Hakeem Jeffries, Big Sleepy? Oh my gosh. I don't want that. So let's start identifying them. They're all Democrats. And that's the Democrat way. All right. We got more coming up.
It's TJ Ritchie.
Hey, it's TJ, and yes, it is going strong. The TJ Ritchie Show. It's my new political podcast on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT. And you need to sign up and get all the inside scoop on everything and get the special little perks by being a member of the Ritchie Gang. Be a gangster. Just go to tjritchie.com and sign up today.
Late, live, and local. Yeah. It's the TJ Ritchie Show on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
Oh, late, live, local, and hungry. That's what I am. I have to leave my house so early in the evening to make it here on time. And I know I'm old. I'm 55, and I get that, but I am not old enough yet to be eating dinner at 4:30 in the afternoon like I've been doing. Just go ahead and sit down with in one of those blood pressure machines while I'm at it, while I'm eating my dinner at 4:30. So I know that's not important in the grand scheme of things, but it's just, I think it's funny to think about somebody who seems so young like I do. Be sitting down at 4:30 in the afternoon eating dinner. Now, if I could eat at 4:30 dinner and then go to bed about 6, that would be the thing. Whew. That's why I said if my wife and I, something happens between us, I'm not going after a younger woman. I'm going after a much older woman. Lives my lifestyle. We sit and shell peas in the afternoon and then eat dinner around 4:30. Watch some TV and then go to bed before it gets dark. Doesn't that sound awesome? My wife's too energetic as it is. And she's not young, but she's too energetic. Trying to keep up with her. And acts like I ought to be the same way. I'm like, hey, I'm working 2 jobs, woman. She's like, well, you're doing one for fun. Still, it counts. It's like I'm volunteering at a charity. Like Wheezy on the Jeffersons always worked at the Help Center. That's what I'm doing. This is the Help Center, WBT, the Help Center. Volunteering my time. Hey, the number is 704-570-1110. If you got something that you want to say, you can call and say it if you feel like it. That would be nice. We'll have a little back and forth, one with another. All right. So one of the big stories in our culture happens to be the story of a teenage track star, a girl's track star, and she won her state championship in track, and she's a sprinter. So when she won, her father was in the stands, and she ran over to him, and he handed her a fire extinguisher, and she took the fire extinguisher and sprayed her feet with it as if she's putting out the fire that she just set in her shoes from running so fast. Well, the officials at the track meet, there's evidently some rule against showboating, taunting, that kind of stuff, and they disqualified her. And oh man, all hell broke loose. She's disqualified. Now, this is a clip of her and her dad on the news.
I worked so hard for that title.
The greatest moment of 16-year-old Clara Adams' young career taken away from her because of a celebration. After winning the 400-meter event at the CIF State Championships with a time of 53.24 seconds, her dream of winning a state title went up in flames after celebrating using a fire extinguisher.
When she blew the fire extinguisher, the opponents were gone. That was our moment of celebration, and the CIF officials made that about them. The crowd went crazy. They loved it. The booth, CF booth went crazy. They loved it. But those few guys in those jackets, they took offense to it, didn't like it, and they made a decision based on emotions.
The North Salinas High sophomore grabbed a fire extinguisher from her father and coach and extinguished off her spikes.
So the crowd loved it, as he said, and that they were acting, the judges were acting from emotion. They were emotional. Okay. This is where I differ from most people. I am so anti showboating and taunting and all of that trash talking and all that kind of stuff in sports. And I played sports my entire life. had, scholarship offers for football and baseball. And I just have never, as a sports fan, liked any of it. I don't like the dancing in the end zone, even though two of my favorite players are Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson from LSU, because I'm a Louisiana person. I don't like the dancing in the end zone. I don't like the over-the-top celebrations, and I really don't like that the kids call it sellies. A touchdown selly. That sounds ridiculous. I mean, I know I'm an old man, but it's just not. I mean, I miss sportsmanship. And I realize that I am, in the minority on this, because people love all of that stuff. But I'm guessing that there are rules in place with these girls' track meets that say that you can't do stuff like that. And the judges weren't acting out of emotions. You were the emotional one. You decided that not only did your daughter need to win the competition, she then needed to rub it in their faces, the people who lost, and then put on a show. You made that decision for your daughter. You helped her do that. It's just this attitude like, why not? I wanted to. She wanted to. She was paying tribute to an Olympic sprinter from the Sydney Olympics who did the same thing. That's what she was doing. Well, I was at the Sydney Olympics. I was there as a broadcaster. My partner Ace and I went with a Coca-Cola sponsored trip, and we did our morning show from Darling Harbour in Australia, in Sydney. And the whole buzz around the world was how ridiculously unsportsmanlike our sprinters were. Now, I usually don't care what people say around the world. I don't care what other countries say about us, because we're better than they are. But still, I mean, you got a point. It's not good sportsmanship, and I like sportsmanship. So if there's a rule that says you can't showboat and rub it in somebody's face, that you can't, all of a sudden put on your own individual look at me show outside of the track meet. I mean, you're the emotional one, Dad. You're the one operating through emotions. I also think, quickly, this is something that I think should be a new rule in the NFL and in college football and all that. If you score a touchdown, you should be free to do whatever dance and celebration and all that. Stretch it out as long as you want. You should be allowed to do that. But the other team should be allowed to try to tackle you and put you to the ground. So if it's important enough for you to do your dance, go down, score the touchdown, and then your other players need to come down and block for you in the end zone to make sure that the other team doesn't just drill you into the ground. Now, that would be fun to watch. How important is the dance to you? All right. I'm sure that'll catch on. People are going to love that. We got more coming up next. I am the #1 influencer for that fancy company called Cozy Earth. They sell all kinds of stuff, everything from clothing to bedding, and I will admit it is all luxurious. But don't be thinking that you can't afford it, because when you use the promo code GANG, you'll get 41% off everything. So go to tjritchie.com/deals and use the code GANG for that huge 41% discount. See, it pays to know me.
The TJ Ritchie Show. Bringing the heat.
Oh, hot, hot, hot.
Whatever that means. This is the TJ Ritchie Show on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT.
I tell you what, the Vince Coakley promo that just ran there, Vince Coakley is a sweet, sweet man. He is. Saw him the other day at one of the big meetings up here that we had when they were telling everybody that I was going to be volunteering at night. And I hadn't seen him in years. And we exchanged the man hugs, and I think our cheeks brushed each other in the man hug. That usually doesn't happen. A little cheek to cheek. So we started dancing. No big deal. No, I'm kidding. He's a super nice guy. So everybody has been nice to me here except for one person. And you know who you are. Beth Troutman. I'm joking. All right, so I know I'm going to get a lot of grief from people saying that I'm too nitpicky about celebrations and sports, touchdown dances and the like. Okay, I get it. Like I said, I know that I'm in the minority on that. But I also hate the bat flip in baseball, where you hit a ball that's obviously going out of the park and you flip the bat high in the air, or do it, just trying to be cool, trying to look cool. I've always hated that. I think you look ridiculous doing it. Or when you flip the bat and then turn and start yelling at the other dugout or whatever it is. Let's go. I mean, I believe in being fired up and stuff, but just, act like you got some upbringings, But the problem is that when the bat flip thing started getting popular, then you had all of these dads teaching their little boys in Little League and all that the bat flip was cool, and then they started doing it. So then it just, then it just dominoed from there. I don't like it. I always live by that old phrase, act like you've been there, I'm a huge baseball fan. And football. Baseball and football are mainly the sports that I watch. It's the sports that I played. I don't watch the NBA ever. I can't really relate to it because there aren't any players that look like me. I'm kidding. But I don't watch the NBA. But when I see the showboating stuff, that's what we called it whenever I was growing up, showboating. I'm a big fan of sportsmanship. Flipping the bat. I've even seen videos where some kid hit a home run and flipped the bat, and when he did, it cracked the umpire in the head and knocked him out. See, when I was growing up, if you slung the bat, they would say, don't sling the bat. You'd get called out. But everybody wants to have all eyes on me. It's not enough for you to do something great at your position and get the applause and all of the recognition that you get. You then got to turn it into something that's just ugly, I think. You got to turn it into, oh, now I'm going to turn it into a one-man show about me. Look at me. Look how great I am. Look. Barry Sanders never did that. Barry Sanders never acted a fool in the end zone or when he did something great. I don't think Saquon does it. Lonnie, do you know Saquon doesn't do a bunch of celebration and dancing and stuff in the end zone, does he? The MVP, Saquon Barkley from the Eagles. But then again, I'm not a good dancer, so I can talk trash about it. So, but I could be a star in the NFL. At my age right now, I could do it. Don't laugh, Lonnie. Anybody laughing? You give me the ball. I mean, isn't every NFL team looking for a 55-year-old, 5'8", overweight guy to get out there? You let me go to a combine. I'll set it on fire, man. They'll be making movies about me. They'll say the volunteer radio host, the new Panthers wide receiver and free safety, going both ways. Yeah, I'd be the free safety. Free to leave anytime I was ready. Yeah. free to get out of their faces over there. I do think the Panthers, though, we had the handsomest head coach. What's his name? Yeah, Dave Canales. I think that's going to be job security for him, is being handsome. Because nobody wants no ugly coach on the sidelines and in press conferences and stuff, do they? I don't think so. I don't think. But I would just like to put it out there because we have a connection with the Panthers, don't we? Some sort. I'd like somebody to go tell him that I'm available for tryouts. Y'all see me? Well, I can't play in any 4:30 games on Sunday because that's too late. I got to get up early, do my morning show. I could play the 1 o'clock games though. I could do that.
We'll get Zoki right on that.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's another Jim Zoki. That his name?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get him on that. He's part of the broadcast.
Oh, I know. I met him. Oh, trust me, George. I met him. Well, I came in here one morning. They call him Zoke, don't they?
Yeah.
They all call him Zoke. Oh, yeah, I know him. He's a great guy. Seemed like it. I've been a fan of his, listening to him doing sports and stuff for years. Just like I am everybody else on the show. On the station. News people, Boomer Von Cannon doing the traffic in the mornings and all that. That's why I wish I worked, I may start volunteering to vacuum and stuff during the day so I can, hang out with the peoples. Hang out with the stars. I don't think they would mind. Now, I would say that I could start doing some producing of shows and all, so I could be in here while they're doing their shows, but I can't do what y'all do. All that operating the equipment and everything. It said, George, you trained all these other little young guys around here about how to run the stuff?
Most of them.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to look back at that now and say, that's not my finest work, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Lonnie's hair?
No.
Nah, he said he won't ever show it. He got a head thing around his dreads. I don't think that's fair. When are you gonna show us your dreads? Come on. Are you gonna do it now? All right, cool. Oh man, why would you want to cover that up all the time? It looks cool.
I gotta keep it up, man. We're in the office, man.
Yeah.
When I'm out of when I leave out of the office, then I go renegade. So.
Okay. Well, I think you look adorable. You look absolutely adorable, Lottie.
Well, thank you.
So
like some alone time.
So precious. All right, so thank you very much for listening, and we got the great one, Mark Levin, coming up next. God loves you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. See you tomorrow night. I am the #1 influencer for that fancy company called Cozy Earth. They sell all kinds of stuff, everything from clothing to bedding, and I will admit it is all luxurious. But don't be thinking that you can't afford it, because when you use the promo code GANG, you'll get 41% off everything. So go to tjritchie.com/deals and use the code GANG for that huge 41% discount. See, it pays to know me. Hey, it's TJ, and yes, it is going strong. The TJ Ritchie Show. It's my new political podcast on News Talk 1110 and 99.3 WBT, and you need to sign up and get all the inside scoop on everything and get the special little perks by being a member of the Ritchie Gang. Be a gangster. Just go to tjritchie.com and sign up today.